Hey guys, Terry from Smooth Workshop here. Good morning. Nice Saturday morning here, but windy and overcast outside. Right, I said I was going to do an inbox review, slightly different inbox review. I got gifted a master grade Bandai Gundam for my 50th birthday from Justin Norman. Cheers, Norman. It's in 1/100 scale, and it's a ZGMF-X10A Freedom Gundam version 2 with the figure bust of Kira Yamato. It's this kit here, and it's a fantastic kit. Rather than going into every single sprue, because there's lots of them, I decided to just build the kit, get a feel for it, so I can sort of decide what paint schemes I want to do with it. Comes in a lovely big box. That's the lid there, and it has all the detail on the side with the guy with his wings folded up and everything, and the action shot. Hopefully that's coming up on camera. So yeah, I built my first Gundam. On and off it took me, sorry about all the rattling, on and off it took me probably about 2.5 days. There's not a lot of skill to building them. There is a lot of cutting of parts and cleaning up of nubs and sanding them back. So yeah, it's not hard. To me it's a bit like Lego, but it's a very fantastically engineered kit. So without further ado, I'm going to do an inbox review with a slight difference because I've already built it. So see you in a bit. Hey guys, welcome back. Terry here, Smooth Workshop. Right, this Gundam kit. Lovely, lovely kit. Instruction brochure. It is a brochure. Nice artwork on the front, telling you Freedom Gundam version 2 and Kira Yamato, which is a little figurine bust. And a lovely picture on the back of the completed figure on its stand, with Kira Yamato sitting down there. Instructions themselves. A lot of it in Japanese, but there are English instructions on here as well, so you don't have to, it's got it in Japanese above and then in English below. So this is the V2 instructions. Gives you all the sprue callouts. Quite good in the Gundams. I've not really built a Bandai kit before, but it refers to different coloured sprues. So like E1's your dark blue, E2's dark blue, and it's easy to pick the sprues from the box rather than it being a load of grey sprues like a men kit or something like that. The sprues are all colour coded and really well laid out. It tells you to start off with the body unit and stuff like that. You can do them in any build order that you want. I started with the feet. Head unit. Some of the instructions of the way that it clicks together can be a bit confusing, but persevere with it. They do lay them out in all the correct orientations and tell you, quite good, they actually tell you on this part, when you're cutting it out, what should not cut the little bits off when you're cutting them from the sprue. So do read the instruction before you start hacking things off a sprue. Sometimes there are little nubs that look like nubs, but they're not nubs. They're actually required on the kit. Goes into the arm units, shoulder armours, putting the upper body together, the waist unit. Then we're on to the leg units. I built the feet and the legs first because I just fancied building them. Tells you how to put the lower body on and the final assembly. All your rail cannons and wing units. All beautifully laid out, and then in the middle there's a nice bit of colour instruction. Now it does tell you in English that the wings should be 60% white and 30% bright blue if you're going by their colours, but they don't actually tell you any paint codes or anything like that, so they're not aiming at any particular type of paints. I'm going to be painting it my own colours. I quite like that wee Lakers Klein or whatever it is, the wee pink one. Quite a lot to the wings themselves, but it's straightforward engineering. It's just, you know, a lot of flat bladed parts all hinged together. The cleanup takes the longest part, and there's some fine parts on that. So the plastic is very soft on these kits, so I wouldn't advise going anything over a 220 grit in a sandy stick, and then working up to finer. If you're going with something coarse, you're going to mark it and you're going to have a hell of a time getting the marks out. So it's very, very soft plastic. It does mark easily. Then goes on to building the stand, how to put the figure onto the stand, how to articulate all the beam cannons and all that sort of thing. So there's a lot of instruction on that, and then building the bust of Kira Yamato, which I was really pleasantly surprised with. The casting detail on these is fantastic, and then it gives you all the decal callouts. Well, with it, it comes with, I'm going to have to order decals, so I'll just move that aside. It actually comes with a sheet of dry rubs, okay, a sheet of stickers, and some stickers for Yamato. So I'm going to see about getting proper water slide decals for this. I do wish Bandai would put water slide decals in them, but I'm under the belief that the reason they don't put water slide decals in is because they're initially aimed at the Japanese market, because they love all their anime and stuff like that, and they prefer stickers. So, right, where have we got to? Sprue shots, right, this is just for a laugh. I've built the kit, so I'm not going to go into individual sprue shots, and these aren't all of them, but there are lots of sprues, alright, lots and lots of sprues. So you're going to spend most of your time cutting parts off of sprues and sanding them back. So yeah, these are all the sprues that come in the kit, and there's quite a few. So that's the sprue shots done. One point of note on this one, absolutely fantastic tooling and engineering, and how Bandai actually injected different colours and everything in. This is actually sprue F for the eyes. Now you're going to notice here that there is purple, okay, there's white, there's black, and there's grey. Now in this normally would be a little rectangular piece with the two eyes on for the Kira Yamato figure. They have actually managed to tool this in such a way when they inject the eyes that the pupil in black and the purple for the iris and all the rest of it are all injection molded in plastic, and it's fantastic. So I'll try and show you that when I get to Kira. But that's that. Right, so the kit itself. I've got a box of bits here, so I've got it under the table. Right. So I started off with, now I'm just going to adjust the camera a little bit. I started off with the feet on this. Let's see what we can pull out. Right, that's a base. Okay, so I'll just put that there. And there's another little bit of base, which they all slot together. That's for Kira. Right, so I'll put that to the side now. What else have we got? Oh, I've got Kira. I left Kira built up. Kira is fantastic. I'm just going to see if we can get in and let you see the detail in those eyes. I don't know how much that's catching the light there. It's made of several parts, and it's got a wee swivelable head. Hello, I'm Kira. Beautifully detailed plastic. That's her on her stand. There are a couple of seam lines or visible gaps on the shoulders. Nothing major. But yeah, what a fantastic little bust. And she just clicks onto the front of, see it here? She did it before. She just clicks onto the front of the stand. So I've got her off camera. Have I pressed record? Yes, I have. Right, let's just pull something out here and have a little look. Right, these are beam cannons. Rail guns. Made up of a few parts. All pushed together. Beautifully tooled. But when not in use, now let's see if I can do this the right way. This is mounted on the waist of the unit, and it all clicks in together like so, and goes on the waist. So I think that's the left one. There's one of the little hinge joints. There is no polycaps on this. All of it is polystyrene or styrene. So I don't envisage any problems using oils on it, but I will be priming everything, even the bits you don't see, just in case. But it's all PE, it's all polystyrene plastic. There's no ABS in this. All the sprues are marked PS for polystyrene. So that's the two rail cannons that sit on the waist. I'm just pulling it out of the box as I've built it. Oh, here's the two legs. Oh, these are fantastic. Now, built up in numerous parts. The legs themselves, there is an inner frame. It's in a lightish grey plastic. And then you add all the extra bits on. These look like little jets, and there's a little articulated piece here. It reveals, I assume, some sort of rocket booster. This is the joint for the foot, which goes onto the foot. Okay, so we've got articulation on there. And this is a hip joint. Okay, so it goes that way and up and down. What I do like about this, now this is really clever, right? Watch this upper thigh, right? When I pull that back, this all slides and then that goes back. That's fantastic. Now, the only concern with that is if you're going to be painting the inner frame underneath, you're going to be worried about it rubbing and stuff like that. There does seem to be a decent amount of clearance between the inner frame part and the outside to allow the parts to move. So we shouldn't be scratching any paint there. So we've got 2 legs here with 2 hips. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So that's legs. Put them to the side. There's a little bit that mounts on his bum, and it looks like it's some sort of rockets. And again, it's got ZGMF-X10A. I can't believe I'm actually getting into the lingo of Bandai Gundams, but yeah, that's a little bum piece. What else have we got here? Oh, we've got one of the arms with a shoulder pad on. There's another arm. Oh, one of my bits has fell out here, and this appears to be part of my rail cannon, so I'll get that sorted in a minute. Right, this is a stand, and it's got a ratchet system on it. So you click these wee levers out, and it lets you move the stand up and down, lock it in place, and adjust the angle of it with another one there, with this little scoop that goes under his backpack. So I'm just going to briefly stick that on there. Yeah, you flick this a little bit. It's slightly off camera. Apologies for that. I'll pull it in the shot. Slightly off camera. Now you flick the wee, where's the wee lever? There. And that lets you adjust the angle of it and lock it into place. Right, so that's the stand. Right, oh, right, that's his arms. Right, I'll go into his arms just now. There's a shoulder pad on this particular arm, which just comes off. It's got a wee rocket underneath it. So that's his big Dolly Parton shoulder pads, one of them. The arm, the articulation's quite good. You've got the shoulder joint, okay, and then it rotates as well, and quite a degree of mobility on the arm there. This is his shield arm. There is a small pin in the back for mounting his shield on, and that's where his hand goes in. So, right, so that's that one. I'll just stick that in there so I know that's his left one. Again, there's his right one. There's a little hand in there. This one is for gripping the weapon, and there is a little notch there that goes into the rifle. It's a bit faffy. It doesn't grip very well, but yeah. There's 3 different types of hands. There's one that just shows them clenched fists. There's ones for holding the lightsabers. This particular one is... Oh, wait, now, is that the shield? Is that the shield? Actually, that's his right arm. This is the one for the shield. So that clicks into the shield, and he's got a little flexible thumb there. So that's for the shield. So that's that side. I pulled this all apart in a hurry. Okay, so this is for the rail cannon. Now, where is it? Is it this one? Right, that one's got its bit in. This one hasn't. Yeah, so all of these click together. It's really, really, really fantastic engineering. I'm just having a look here to see if I can get it to go back in the way it's supposed to. Bear with me. I've just kind of pulled it all apart in a hurry and flung it in the box. So everything does just pop together. Right, so that's the wee red bit on the end of his railgun. That just had fell in the box there. There's the guy's shoulder pad for the other arm. His head is lovely detailed. I did look at for a laugh. There's a nice big clear plastic part at the back of his eyes, which you can possibly get some SMD LEDs into it. I did put a blue one under the bottom just for a laugh, and it lit up lovely. Am I going to light it? I'm not sure. Again, that all clicks together, so that's his head. Right, there's a shoulder off a. Is it this one? Is that shoulder? Is that a bit of a leg? I'm trying to remember now because I did pull it apart in a hurry. I think this is part of his shoulder. That goes that way. Does that go that way? That goes that way. You can tell I haven't built many of these, so I'm faffing about a bit. But it's just to let you have a wee look at the kit. So I think that's his right arm. This is his left arm. So yeah, the shoulder joints, there's no polycaps. They just snap in and turn. Okay. Really, really clever. No flash at all on this kit apart from 2 parts on the rotator cuffs on the arms. 2 bits of flash in a kit this size with a couple of 100 bits. Fantastic. So that's his left arm. Right, so we've got his feet now, so his 2 feet. They go together in multiple parts. The foot is hinged, so you've got a bit of posability in his foot. And the ankle bit, his ankle guard moves, and it's got 2-way articulation on the ankle. So let's just, might as well, let's just pop the legs in the right way round, Terry, maybe, might help. So yeah, his leg, you can, his foot, I'm not going to play with it too much because I've not got it clicked in properly, but yeah, you've got left and right and all that articulation going on there. So really, really quite clever how everything just clicks together. As I say, it's very, very like Lego. I don't want to be putting an arm on there. So let's just get his other. There we go, there's another. So he's got 2 feet and 2 legs built up. Main part of the body and his waist unit. He has articulation in his waist, that's his hip joints. One of these is the one that didn't come off, which for this side for his rail gun, that just clicks into there. Yeah. And the hole on the other side is for the one here that I haven't put in. I'll just straighten it up for ease of build later. Right. So he's got articulation on his waist as well. That big slot at the back is for putting his wing pack in. That's his arms. There's quite a bit of movement on the arms as well. They've got these. That's his jock strap, I would say. That's his big manhood portion. He's got a couple of bits that lift up there as well, little flaps for the top of his thighs. So yeah, and obviously it pivots around the waist as well. They say they've improved the articulation on the waist and the hips on these. I don't know, I haven't built a V1, so I'm not sure. But lovely detail in the parts, everything just clicks together. These things have little pilots, and this is pilot section, so that bit just clips forward, and in there goes your little pilot. To be perfectly honest, I'm not going to detail paint a pilot up and stick them in there when you can hardly really see them. But yeah, it's a big mechanised suit, and there is a little guy in there that drives the thing. So, right, okay, let's see what we can get together on here. Right, we'll just put right leg, Terry, right leg. So I'm not going to click these fully home. There can be a bit of faff. It's really, really tight on the legs. So I'm not putting them fully home yet. They are quite tight. I want to be able to pull them apart when I paint them. So definitely on the leg parts, they are awfully tight. So I've not put them fully in. But yeah, he can walk and, you know, tip his hips about. This goes on to the side of his waist, like so. Where's the other one? There. So yeah, I haven't clicked a lot of these parts fully together to make them easier to separate when I go to paint them, but I did put it together so I got an idea of what it was all about. So there's his bum piece, that's articulated as well, so we'll just click that in. Okay, so it kind of lifts up and tips up and stuff like that. So that's his bum piece. So he's starting to come together there. So we'll take his right arm with his shoulder pad attached and see if I can get this right. As I say, I'm not a Gunpla builder, so I'm kind of fiddle-farting about feeling my way with this. But yeah, his arm goes into his shoulder with his big Dolly Parton shoulder pad there. And same with this one. He's got his big shoulder pad. I think that's the right way I'm doing it. No, it's not. It's that way. So here we go again. Right, so that's that arm on. So he's got a couple of arms on now. Not bad articulation in them as well. Straighten his little body up. His head, quite simply, just pops on the top. So that's his head on. I'll go into these big wing sections in a minute. They're massive. He's got a couple of wee lightsaber things. They do click together, a bit like Darth Maul's one. And supposedly when they're not in use, they're turned off, so the beams are off, and they can actually click them onto the top of his waist units. Don't know if I'll display them on the model or not. It's a bit of a faff to try and click them on. So you do get two light beam sabers. Right, we're nearly there, building them together. That's what I'm saying. Once you've got all the parts, sorry for all the noise. Once you've got all the parts off the sprues, that is a bit that takes the longest. Cutting all the parts off and sanding them all back. So here we have a. Now I'm just thinking where his hand is. Right, that's that. That's that. I'm sure I showed you a hand a minute ago. Oh, he's got his hand on. Right, okay. Right, so for the shield, there's a little hinge piece here. Okay, and a little grabby bit. You just click that into the back of his elbow. There's a little hole. This is the way I found it was the easiest to do it. Is put that in there, and then rotate his arm round into the position for this bit. It's all a bit of a faff. I did find it to be a bit of a faff. And then you get that into there. Then this has got a little slot on it. It's supposed to click into the shield, right? And then you pull his thumb across. I'm not going to bother doing it just now, but yeah, right. So, and then you rotate his arm back, and he's got his big shield on. So again, it's quite impressive. I've not fully clicked it together down the seams, so that I can get it apart. I do have some plastic trim tools from my mechanic days that I'll use for splitting them apart. And another handy wee tool is a Tamiya paint stirrer with a wee flat edge on it, if you want to get in to price parts. But as the plastic is very soft, you will mark it. So if you do want to build it up like this, just to see what it looks like and decide what colour you want to paint it, don't click everything fully home, because you're going to have problems separating it. There are little bits you can get into to pop parts out, but sometimes they're a really flush fit. So that's that. Now, did I pull the weapon out? I thought I did. Oh, there it is. Right, so he has a nice weapon here. This little part, the extra handle, moves about. There's an optic sight on it. That's the only bit I've not put the clear plastic in yet, because it'll be a pain to put that in after it's painted. And he has a specific hand, which you don't fit with the trigger finger in this one. So yeah, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4. Should I have had that thumb in that one? I don't know, but anyway. So that kind of goes onto there. It's a real fiddle to get this to grip properly. It might be better with paint on it, but yeah, I found it was a bit of a faff. But yeah, so we'll click his gun on, and he's ready to go out and whoop some ass, so to speak. Right, so he looks fantastic. So that's like him in his basic mode, all clipped together. And it's just like Lego. Take your time, clean your parts up, click it together, just like Lego. So I'm going to stand him off to the side. This is the impressive part for me. This is his wing section and his backpack. These articulate out to the sides. I'm going to move him further off to the side. I'm actually going to move him off camera at the moment, because these wings are pretty impressive. So they go out to the sides, they go back, and they also pivot on the backpack as well. This is supposedly when you pull up there's more beam cannons. When he's got his wings in the swept back position. Oh, it's falling apart. Why is that falling apart? So, I used to think they were quite toy-like, but because they can fall apart quite easily, I couldn't see you playing with these much. You would break them. But yeah, so there's those beam cannon things on the top of his wings, and they've got a bit of articulation there. I do find this blue section that hinges open tends to unclip quite easily for here, even though it's snapped in. So in operation mode, and this is supposed to slide forward a little bit. These are very, very tight, these little things here that go back in and come back out. So I dressed them up a bit, but that's his beam cannons, or whatever you want to call them. So that is, he seems to have quite a bit of ornaments on him. So yeah, so we fold the wings out into the open position, and then we start doing all the magic here, where we start swinging wings up and stuff. Now let's see if I can get this without destroying it all. Am I doing it right? Is it that one up there? That one? Because I've shut all this together, I will get the hang of the wings. Or am I doing it upside down? I've probably done that upside down. I don't. Right, that one goes up. Then 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 that one goes down the way. There we go. We're getting a bit more like it now. Yeah. Yeah, kind of figuring it out. But oh, really impressed with it. It's very, very, very clever. But it's just basically all hinged plastic, so the tooling in it is fantastic. And these pop out, and these pop out, and all that sort of stuff. Really, really looks really clever. So, and then this part on the backpack. See if I can get this to go in on camera without everything else falling off. This just slots in into his back, so get a hold of it, Terry. Give it a wiggle in. And I think, like, I'm just trying to get his balance and his gravity and everything right. I think this is absolutely fantastic looking tooling. Just trying to get him over on his feet a little bit to balance. Is he going to balance? Let's see if we can get the... Absolutely fantastic looking guy. Yeah, and it's really quite stunning with all these wings out and everything like that. Let's see if I can get him onto his stand. This will be the next laugh. It kind of hooks under his backpack. See if I can get the hang of it. Oh, I got it, first go. And he's on his stand there. Bakira Yamoto. Right, now, let's see if I can get this to... Come back, I pressed the pause button by mistake. But the size of this guy is really, really quite big. He's easily a good 30 centimetres across with his wings out. And again, easily the same. I need to twist it all to get it all into line, but yeah, fantastic. I'm real impressed. When I first looked at these and I thought, they're like Transformers. Well, they're not really. If there's a pilot in them, they're big mech suits. Really impressed with it. There's going to be quite a lot of scope for painting on this, and I think that's where the hard part of actually building these models is the painting. As I say, a 12-year-old child could, under supervision, obviously, cut the parts from the sprue and clean them up and click this all together, and it looks beautiful unpainted. But I think to really make these pop and make them more into a model rather than a Lego kit, whatever you do with your detail painting is what sets these off and makes them into a proper model kit rather than a snap together Lego kit. So apologies if I offend anyone with that, but they're really easy to build, guys. Just time and care when you're clipping them off the nubs and sanding them back. I did tend to find that the dark blue ones you get wee stress marks, even though you've sanded it nice and flat. You get the wee sort of white mark when you snip the plastic. There's not much you can do about that, but when you paint it, that'll all be covered up. I'm really impressed. I've never built one of these before. I didn't know if I would like it. I like this particular one. I think it is fantastic. The engineering in it. If Tamiya started... No, what's the best way of putting it? If Bandai started making kits the way they do with their snap-together kits and engineering they've got, like Tamiya are making, like tanks and things like that, I think Tamiya would go out of business, quite honestly. So summing up, superb tooling, fantastic detail, perfectly moulded, 2 tiny bits of flash. And I did have to glue 2 tiny wee bits on the tips of his rail cannon things, and only reason I did that was even though they were clipped together, they were slightly splayed, and it annoyed me, so I just put a wee bit extra thin. But there's no need for glue on this kit. It's going to be fun to paint it. But yeah, so even if I don't paint it, I've got a beautiful looking model sitting here. Goes together like Lego. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So if you are thinking about getting a Bandai Gundam kit, then this is a master grade in 1/100 scale. I don't know what the UK price for it is. It was a gift, but I would expect something this size is quite an expensive item. Do try building one, just to get a feel for it. But it's not about the building in these, it's about the painting and the detailing. I think when I go to paint this, I'm not going to be doing a heavy weathering job on them. I'm going to go for some sort of nice metallic-y, possibly even some candy colours on them. Haven't decided. But at least I can say I've built my first Gundam. Yay! So I hope you've enjoyed this. This is Terry from Smooth's Workshop. And as always, happy modelling. Bye.